This is the best way to find red spires on LEGO Fortnite Odyssey. The first thing we have to do is give a huge shout out to Haskins. He was the original finder of this method. So after this video, if you want to see additional proof that these methods do work, make sure you go and check out his video. Now, before we go and get started, you are going to need at least one bus station because we're going to need to travel to others. On top of having a bus station to travel, I also recommend having a ton of grapplers so you have good movement when you get to these areas, and you're going to see exactly why. We are going to be running around a lot. The method that Haskins found starts at any of your bus stations, but what you want to do is travel to a bus station that was naturally found there, meaning that it's going to have that blue icon rather than a green one as if you were the one to place it. You want to go to ones that you personally haven't destroyed yet. When you jump out of the bus, what you want to do is go down towards where that rift station is, or that bus station that you teleported to, and then float around the map to see if you can spot yourself a spire. What Haskins found is that you need to be within about 100 to 150 meters of that spire in order to see it, because that's what the render distance is. Now, what I found was a big red spire directly when I fell down. Now, in this case, I found it about 115 meters away from the bus station that I teleported down from. However, I have 4 of these bus stations that I found in the area, so one of them is probably at that 150 meter range away. But as far as the one that I teleported from, I was about 115 meters from there. A lot of you know that I had a spire that spawned directly next to my village, and most of you guys probably had this exact same thing happen. But before the Spire update came out, I did have a bus station that was right around here. It was a little bit further away from where my base is right now, but definitely within that 150 to 250 meter range, which checks out that I was able to find this spire right next to my village. This clip is from yesterday, but in the top right, you could see a bus station, and then where I'm landing is on another spire. I didn't mark it, but you guys can pretty much see that the distance on this is around that 150 to 250 meter range. This isn't a 100% foolproof method, meaning you're not always guaranteed to find a spire. However, you are going to have better odds of finding one by doing this, or so it seems. I've been running around my world for hours on end trying to find myself one of these spires, and I found that following this trick has given me the most amount of them in the fastest amount of time. Now, when it comes to doing this, even if you don't find yourself a spire like in this run right here, I was at least able to find a pathway and then grab myself one of these titans. They're just as valuable because they'll drop you a corrupted crystal, or more so than not will drop you a corrupted crystal, and that's the most valuable item that you can get in the game right now. What I want to do now is show you exactly what I'm doing, because even though myself and Haskins are kind of just telling you, I want to show you exactly what the thought process is when we're taking a look for these spires. So when I'm loading down or I'm gliding down, I'm going to mark where this bus station is and then head out about 200 total meters. Make sure that you constantly are checking and making sure that it's still pinged and you know how far you are away. That way you're covering in between yourself and that bus station. Not only that, make sure that you also have your sound effects on, because without them, you may miss hearing it wherever it is. Now, you see I get pretty close here because in the dry valley, there's the water in the way, and little terrain areas like that, you can pretty much scratch off as being a spot where they're not going to have the spires. If you have one of these bus stations that's on the water or near one of these little lakes, you could simply move yourself outside of that and focus more on where the land is going to be. Now, right here, even though I've looked around this circle at over 200 meters away, I wasn't able to find any Spire here. This is going to happen from time to time, but this is the strategy that you want to use. If you bring gliders with you, it should really only take you about 2 minutes to clear off each and every bus station, and then once you find out where these are going to be located and you do find them, they should be respawning there in the future from apparently what they told us in the patch notes. My map is a little bit cluttered, but let's show off exactly where all of my spires are at. The first one that I showed you is directly next to this one that we showed off at the beginning of today's video, which is about 115 meters from one of these locations, but also about 200 to 250 from two of the others. Now, when we take a look at my base here, you always would have one that spawned near your base, or at least that's how the update seemed to have happened. And what you can see is even when it comes to the letter M, which is one of these bus stations, I had the second rift closer to that area. And in earlier today or yesterday's video, when I was showing off me fighting my first red spire, I was able to find it in between the AD and the AC spawn location for bus stations. Now on this bus station that I'm at right now, I was able to find a spire location that was 480 meters away, which means that if I was 200 meters away, it was actually 280 meters further than that, which you wouldn't be able to see in the render. So obviously don't limit yourself to just that 200, maybe try out 250 or closer to 300. Either way, roaming around wherever these bus stations are going to give you by far the best opportunity to find a spire. I know a lot of people are creating new worlds because of this update, and some of you guys may just not have a ton of bus stations around your map because maybe you haven't explored all that much. But by far the best way to find these bus stations and then ultimately find the most amount of spires is to go out late at night and search for these bus stations. Mark as many of them as you can and then return to them during the daytime to search for some spires. You go out late at night because you're able to see that blue glow just a little bit better at nighttime. You're able to run around and see them. No matter how far away you are, you'll be able to see some sort of blue light in the sky. Now, with that being said, we're all still hoping that we're going to get a hot fix here by Epic. It's definitely something that they need to address. We can't go on forever without having these spires all over the map. So hopefully they give us a hot fix or just a fix in general where they release more of this new content on our worlds, because at the end of the day, it's new content that we haven't had in 7 months. Give us as much of it as you possibly can. Nonetheless, I hope that today's video helped all of you guys out. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, this was Crafty, and I'm out. Peace. Help me reach 50,000 subscribers by pressing that sub button in the top right. And if you guys haven't already, check out that video in the top left. YouTube thinks that you'll like it a lot. Peace.